Hi everyone, welcome back to my reading vlog. I am reading Magnolia Parks. If you didn't watch my first reading vlog, I already uploaded it. So now I'm on the second book, which is Daisy Hates. I am actually in Newport right now, which is why my background is a little bit different. I'm here for Memorial Day weekend, but I already started reading this book and I wanted to kind of catch you guys up on what my thoughts are. Natty is here and and she has already read this book, so I'm gonna kind of discuss it with her as to like what's going on and what has stuck out to me the most. I'm 100 pages in.
I have no idea where she is, so I can't wait to talk about this with her.
Yes, and she's ahead of me. She's on the third book, so that's
Which,
why.
who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk it?
Not me.
Nat's ahead of me.
Not me.
If you guys are new here, I have a book Instagram. It's called Kiki's Book Rats, and I post all of my book updates. I also have a Goodreads account where I leave reviews, and I also update as I'm reading with just like descriptions and stuff, so you guys can follow me over there. But let's get into Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. Okay.
Also, one of my friends, I forget who it was, came up to me and was like, oh my gosh, I follow Keaton's book Instagram. It's the best thing ever. And
really?
I was like, I know, it's so fun.
That is literally so
yeah.
nice. Okay, first things first, I really like Daisy's personality. No, I don't want to say more because I like Magnolia's for like different things.
I think Daisy's more relatable to us. Or maybe just me.
In a sense.
In a sense where like, I feel like Magnolia gives more like, she's not pick me.
I knew you were going to say pick me. This is my thing though, is
she's not pick me because she's that girl.
I think she is. The reason I don't say she's that pick me, which she comes off pick me because you're like, oh, everyone loves her and she makes everyone love them, but that's not, I feel like, her fault.
That's why I mean, like, it was easier to say that, but she is that girl, but it feels more pick me, which I personally am not relating to more, whereas with Daisy, I'm like, she seems just like a chiller know-it-all.
Yeah, the thing that I love about Daisy is I just like right off the bat, I like her confidence a lot, which Magnolia is very confident too, but not really. She like always has different insecurities.
She kind of like masks her confidence.
Exactly. Whereas I feel like Daisy is actually confident. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like Magnolia is, but it really relies on other people.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't feel like Daisy's does.
No, it's not. She doesn't need outside validation.
Exactly. So I really have liked that a lot. Okay, wait. I need to go through like it's really interesting so far reading Christian's point of view about Magnolia.
Yeah.
That is like really a lot for me to handle because in her book, I will give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, she doesn't make it seem as deep as it is with Christian. Like, she is so focused on BJ that it's like, yeah, like he liked me and we had a thing and like, but like,
it's like afterthought.
Yeah, it's such an afterthought. And then you read his thoughts and it's like all he can actually think about, and it's kind of sickening. I'm like, oh my god.
No, it's like so sad.
But also, I'm getting to the point where he's very much liking Daisy a lot.
Yeah.
So he's starting to be like they just went out to a club and like Daisy was there, or she was like with someone, or no, Daisy wasn't there. And he texted Daisy and was like, dude, like, what are you doing? And she's like, I have a friend over. And he's like, a friend? Like, literally, what's going on?
But and then, we don't do jealous.
Yeah, and then Henry's like, oh, like, you should go hook up with someone else. And he's like, I'm not going to hook up with anyone else. So he's getting to the point where he's like, oh my god, like, I like Daisy. Which, like, he's going to be in love with her. He just needs to let Magnolia like, go away. Because he would really be obsessed with Daisy. Like,
for sure.
I mean, he's already getting there. But, okay, wait. Let me see what I've highlighted. Oh.
It's like giving slow burn, but not.
Yes, because they're already sleeping together.
Yeah.
Which I think it's really funny. Like, you have a brother, and I have a stepbrother, but we didn't grow up together in this sense. Like, I think it's crazy how, like, Julian knows everyone that she's sleeping with.
Yes.
And, like, it's just so open, and they just, like, talk about, like, hooking up with his sister, and I'm just like, oh! Like, it's like, yeah, like, their relationship is actually, like, very close, but it's, like, it's a little too close for comfort for me. The first thing I highlighted was Christian calling her baby, and then her being like, I love when he says that. And I'm like, I love when he says it to you. Thank you. Oh, I highlighted the scene. It's like right in the beginning, and Magnolia and them are watching Texas Chainsaw, and it's just like a little tiny scene, but she's like cuddled up kind of with Christian, and then she like drops an M&M down her shirt, and he like reaches and like grabs it, and then like they just like their flirting is just giving me anxiety a bit. So that stressed me out. Okay, and then
it's also so interesting to me that there's Julian's point of view too.
I know why. Has to be.
Has to.
Especially because, okay, so Magnolia has to be getting with Julian at some point. Well, I could be so off, but I really think it. Also because Daisy like made a comment in the beginning of this book, and when she sat down at the table and first sees them, Magnolia's like, how's your brother? And she's like, I hate girls who ask about my brother. And like Magnolia is like exactly his type. Like he would be like so into her. So like I just ignore her or
Do you see what I'm talking about with the phone?
Yes.
The text?
Okay, wait. Can we talk about Romeo for like a quick sec?
So
Romeo, he's so, every time I like ask you about something, you're like, so hot. So hot. And like, it's so funny because we're not actually watching these people.
No.
But every time I ask you, like, what do you think about this person? You're like, so hot. As if
so
we've seen them out.
We're probably gonna date soon.
The situation with her and Romeo stresses me out, but I have not gotten to the point where it's like Romeo just got back from New York, and he's like, Daisy, like we work, like we should get back together, like we totally work. And then he went and met her after class, and was like trying to take her to lunch, and she was like, no, like this is not happening because like it can't, and like remember what happened last time. But I don't know what happened, so I have not figured out like the big thing that has like kept them apart, or why Julian has said like that they can't be together. So I'm gonna get there eventually, but their situation is very similar to like BJ and Magnolia, like, where it's like
we can't, but we love each other.
But like, why are we separated? But like, we can't. Yeah. Oh, why did I highlight this? I don't know. It's literally Christian's perspective. It says, he said, I lock eyes with her from across the room, and she is, I cannot stress this enough, stupid hot.
Yeah.
I literally highlighted and I was like, like
stupid hot.
I just love reading like guys' perspectives of girls when they're just like being like they're so hot. I love them.
Yeah.
They're so beautiful. I'm like, is this how Brandon looks at me every day?
For sure.
Christian and Daisy just hooked up, and he's like asking her where his freckles are, and he like closes his eyes and has her hand like go, and she's like, I literally know every single like thing about him, but like he doesn't know the same like little things as her. And I was like, I'm so sad that she's so obsessed with him. But it has to be like a she fell first, he fell harder scenario. Like she's gonna obviously be obsessed with him first, and then he's gonna have to get it together. Oh, I highlighted the scene with the officer Killian. So like they're just flirting nonstop at this place.
Know what?
Just like right, you think he's so hot. I knew it. Oh, last thing I highlighted, this is literally like the last big scene that I read, was them going to the coffee shop. Christian brought Daisy to the coffee shop, and Magnolia was already there. And Daisy's like, I've realized that he just brought me here like just to be like overly like touchy with me and flirty with me in front of Magnolia. And like I've realized now that he like does stuff in front of her with me to like make her jealous, and like I don't like that. And so she's just realized like he's in love with her and like obsessed with her. And so now she's pulling back, which is why the last scene, literally the last page I read, he said, hey, what's going on? Watching a movie? Where? Home? Want me to come? No, I've got a friend here. He said, cool. What the like, so me. I think I'm at a good space now, and I'm interested to get into, I haven't been focused the whole time. I'm interested to get into drama. Like, I'm ready for some spicy things. I want more Julian chapters. Like, where is Julian?
Where's
Julian? Julian just met with this guy who's like, I want this painting. And he's like, yeah.
Elon
and you
Brown.
want, yeah, he's like, and I want the Mona Lisa. Like, what do you want from me? So that's kind of what happened. Noted Mrs. Daisy being like, Magnolia's obsessed with BJ, but like, I would be too. Like, BJ's hot. And I'm like, you little tramp. You little tramp. You better back off. You better not with BJ. Okay?
I mean, he is the hottest of them all.
Is he?
Yeah.
It's the first thing I do whenever I open up a book. I immediately go on Pinterest and look them up.
Yeah.
I have to know. I have to have a visual.
It's awesome.
Like, give me something. Christian hasn't been texting Daisy, but now he is at the club, and Romeo just showed up with Daisy, and he's like actually so salty. And now I'm so interested because I forgot that Romeo knows that she is sleeping with Christian. So this is gonna be very interesting. Okay, hold on. I look busted. I mean, I've been wearing the same shirt for 3 days. There's not much I can do about that. It's 2 o'clock. We have actually been reading all day long.
Show them where you're at now.
I now only have this much left, and I haven't vlogged. I have so much to catch you guys up on because so much has happened in this book. I couldn't put it down. Daisy went on a trip with Romeo, and they they're not official, but they're like hooking up together the whole time. And for some reason, I'm just not on the Romeo bandwagon. I don't know if that's like a hot take because I don't know anyone's opinions on this. Are you, like, when you were reading this, were you like into their vibe or no?
No, sorry.
Like Romeo and Daisy, like in the beginning, because I feel like it's like I have never liked him. I don't know why. Yeah, like I do like that he like has protected her, but for me, I'm just like I don't see the connection as much with them.
Oh, I felt connection, and it kind of gave me Daisy and BJ, or Magnolia and BJ, where they just have that history and like a tie that can't be broken.
Yes, but I don't know why I'm just like not into him. Like I'm like, ugh, like be with Christian. So they were hooking up, and then he basically was like, can we be together? And she said no. Like she still is like obsessed with him. But he's like, oh wait, you're literally in love with Christian. And she's kind of like, yeah. So that was really awkward. But I really liked the way that she was writing and describing how Daisy was going back and forth with her thoughts. Like she basically was like, I'm scared to say that I like Christian because I feel like it's gonna end things with Romeo, and she doesn't want things with Romeo to end, but she also doesn't want to be with him, because if she wanted to, she's been waiting for this for so long, she would have just like gotten back with him right away. Julian was like, you can be with him now, and she was just like, no, which is pretty shocking because the whole book she's pretty much been obsessed with Romeo. But now Christian finally admitted his feelings because Tara, which I can't stand Tara, like I don't like her. Tara is the girl that like Magnolia thought that BJ slept with, but she like has also slept with all of them, and then she's like with Christian in this scene, and then she's like, if you're not into her, like just kiss me. But it's like in front of Henry, and Henry's in love with her, and I'm just like, she's giving me the ick. She's giving me a major ick. I'm just like, why are you doing that? But then he like goes in to kiss her, and he's like, I can't. And I'm like, because you love Daisy. That's how I feel when I read Christian and Daisy chapters. I'm like this.
No, I know, you keep doing that.
Oh my god. The scene, this really pissed me off. I was expressing this. The scene where she's like with Romeo on a trip, and this little nasty rat Tavy, who was like Romeo's first love, which I didn't realize it was the person that Romeo like lost his virginity to and like always go back to, because I'm now kind of like, is that like, I feel like he's very into her in a way, like into this Tavy girl. And I just found out that Romeo was hooking up with Tavy like right before he went home, which I like was super pissed about. But then I'm also like, I guess Daisy has been hooking up with Christian the whole time he's been gone too. Maybe it's like a double standard that I'm only mad at Romeo and I'm not mad at Daisy. But like that really bothered me because he never said anything about it being her, and that's obviously like a sore spot. So that really pissed me off because she just found that out. This scene is so interesting. The fight that Christian gets in with Magnolia, where he just keeps like pissing her off, and he brings up how he knows how she looks when she, you know, is doing the deed. I never got Christian and BJ's conversation, obviously, from Magnolia's book. So this conversation, this made me so sad. This is so brutal. If someone told me this, it's BJ going, she is not yours. She's never been yours. She never will be. It was about me. It wasn't about you. It wasn't because she wanted you. It's because she missed me. Like, I'm like, that is so brutal of BJ to like say straight up to Christian. Like, she actually didn't ever want you.
No, he said, I'm a stab him in the heart and twist.
Yeah, he literally was just like, she actually never wanted you, and the only reason she even got with you is because it had to do with me. Do you feel like that's true?
Yeah.
You think Magnolia only did that, like, to hurt BJ in, like, a sense?
In a sense. Not completely. Like, I think she actually did fall for him.
It just throws me because he's like, we literally said I love you.
That's why I think that, like, it started that way, but I don't
But then they actually were, like, in love.
Yeah.
This scene with Romeo was, like, arguing with Daisy, and he's like, she said, I don't want to do this right now, Romeo. He said, what days? Talk or have sex? You're not good at either these days. On my life, I would end him. I would never speak to him again. And then he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I'm like, there's really no other way to mean it. Like, him, I can't. I actually can't. I really don't like that of all people that Daisy was having a conversation with, like a girl talk conversation with. It was Tara. Like, they had this conversation in the club, and then it's super weird watching BJ come over and just like talk about how Christian really likes her. I don't know. Part of it is not sitting right with me. Like, he's not necessarily doing anything, but he's having a conversation with Daisy, and he's just like, he really likes you. Like, he's not treating you like other girls, but he's also talking about Magnolia, so it's not making me feel too weird. But every single time Daisy interacts with BJ, she's like, he's so hot. Like, he's so my type. He's so hot. And it's just like really putting me on edge because I don't want them to ever be together because it just will stress me out so much. But he's like just talking to her at the club, and then she just got in a huge fight with Christian because some guy like came over to her and was making fun of Jack. She got in a fight, like a literal physical altercation, which I love that she just like punches guys and like fights for herself. It's so funny. But he was with Vanna Ripley, I think that's her name, and she was like, what were you gonna do? Like, you were literally with another girl. This conversation though, right after they had this huge fight, and she's like, you weren't with me, they're talking, and he's like, I don't want to be with anyone else. And then she said, were you jealous? And he said, of course. Sleeping with him? Yeah. And she said, we don't do jealous. And he said, we do now. Like, the way that Christian is talking to Daisy, it just literally makes me like giggle. Like, I'm just obsessed with the way that like he likes her. The only thing I will say that's going on that's really bothering me is the stuff that he does to Magnolia just to like rile her up. Like, it's just so much because he's still doing things to annoy her and to still get her attention. Like, he's pissing her off intentionally because he's trying to see if like she is still affected by him, and that's bothering me so much. I'm just like, just focus on Daisy. Like, let it go, because I know it's easier said than done, but I'm like, it's been 3 years. You need to let it go. She's like in a whole other world of drama, and you're just like keep stirring the pot. Also, the whole thing with the necklace is crazy. Him giving the necklace that Magnolia bought him, what an uncomfortable, rude thing to do. Oh my god, this made me so happy. This scene where Christian, he's like laying with Daisy after they've like just hooked up, that he took her on her date, and they went and like did all of the normal things that she's always wanted to do, which I just thought was like so cute of him. And then he like closed his eyes and he like pointed out all her freckles, which I thought was so cute because that was something she did, and she was like, I know where all of his freckles are, and he like would never know this about me, and now he knows it about her. And he said, I know your freckles too. Giggle and cry and scream and like kick my feet. Like, I can't get over it. I actually can't get over it. And then the scene that I just read, where we're at now, is they just had that like huge heist essentially, where they went to this gala in order to steal a painting or whatever, but it kind of went wrong, and there were like all these guys that broke into the place, and Daisy ended up shooting someone. So now she's like in lockdown because they're gonna come get her. It's also just so awkward because they're like going on this heist, and then she had to put the corset on, and Julian's like, Romeo, like put the corset on her, and Christian's like, no, I'll do it, and Romeo's like, no, I'm good. Like, it's just Romeo and Christian's tension is so much, and it's like stressing me out. And Christian is way more like aggressive and like protective in this book than I ever got from him in the previous book. Like, his thoughts and like the way he is with Daisy is very protective, but also very aggressive. Like, he's always saying something to aggravate someone. Like, he's very confrontational, which I just don't think I got from him in the first book. I mean, I like it, but I do get really irritated when it comes to like the Magnolia stuff. Like, all the stuff he's doing just to aggravate her, I'm just like, can you just focus on Daisy? Like, let's just stop with this. But now I'm so confused because I'm like, does she really like this cop Tiller? Because like, she just like saved his life, and then he came by and was like, thank you for like saving my life. And I'm just like, she seems a little bit confused on her like feelings for him, but I'm like, you can't actually be seriously into this guy, right? Like, I'm like, Christian is the one for you, but I don't know why she's low-key giving me like, she's giving me like I don't know why, it feels like she has like feels for him. It's really freaking me out. So that's where I'm at right now. And Daisy just met Christian's mom, and it's really cute. She just like went to lunch and she was so nervous about it. I'm getting really anxious though, because things are going so well for Christian and Daisy right now, and it's like really cute. She's meeting his mom and they're very, very cute together. Like, he's so affectionate with her. But I know from reading Magnolia's book that like there's gonna be the scene where she like freaks out at the club and is like, you're still in love with Magnolia. Like, because I know that that's coming, I'm just like, I'm itching to get to it, and it's making me so nervous. I love so much how Christian went from like, yeah, I don't care about anything that Daisy does, and then this sentence he's literally like, she is the funniest, cleverest thing, and I think about kissing her all the time. I think about doing all this stuff with her. I hate it when she goes to school. I'm so bored when she leaves. Like, him being a complete simp over her is so good. I'm so stressed. Also, it's crazy. There's just like this shooting at the club, which is just insane because I didn't even hear about this. Oh wait, yes I did. Oh my god, yes I did. In the first book there was a shooting at the club that they talked about. That's actually insane. I forgot that that even happened. I didn't realize that Daisy and Christian were there, but like Daisy just like immediately going to Romeo. This is so sad. And Miguel's like, it's a reflex, and he's like, okay. Daisy just told the full story of like why her and like what happened with her and Romeo, like the full bathtub, someone coming in and like trying to kill her thing. And this little line right here after he says it, she's like, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry I left. And she said, no, I know it's a lot. And he said, yeah, but it's not too much though. Love him. Loving him. I have so much to say. Like, I just finished this book. Okay, I'm speechless. I'm truly speechless. I just went to the beach and I sat and I just read this book the whole time, completely finished it. I cannot believe this ending, but I'm gonna rewind to the last time I vlogged. The last time I vlogged, I got the full story, Romeo and Daisy, and like why they are the way they are, which is like so much scarier than what I thought. I don't know why I wasn't expecting this book to take like such a dark turn in certain areas. Maybe because when I read Magnolia's books, they didn't have all of this like crazy like murder, kidnapping, all of this stuff. So I just wasn't prepared for that, which I love that. Like, I read like dark romance and mafia books, so I like just wasn't expecting it to go there. After that, I got the full like blowout scene where they're at the club. Daisy realizes that Christian is like still in love with Magnolia, which I knew was coming. I like been waiting for that moment. It makes me so sad because as a girl, like you just know, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't do anything or say anything, but like you can just see it and tell, and she was just like, absolutely not. This is when I started to get really frustrated with Daisy. She immediately goes back to Romeo. Like, all of her chapters for like 50 pages were her just sleeping with Romeo non-stop, like feral rabid animals. Okay, like I've never seen anything like it in my life. Absolutely insane. Just like couldn't control herself, which is insane, but she's pretty much just masking her hurt for Christian. I hate that she's doing that. It's not like I love Romeo so much, but I'm just like, this is so pointless and just like so hurtful. And so I really hated all the chapters when she was with Romeo. Like, it was just really bothering me. And I don't understand why Romeo's okay with that. I understand he's like in love with her, but still, to me, it just like really bothered me that he was just even allowing that to happen. And then the worst thing of all, she sleeps with Declan. And I'm like, actually, what's wrong with you? This is when I started to get really pissed off at Daisy and just like her decisions and choices. And I understand like Declan is also in the wrong because he knows that that wasn't right and he knew that he shouldn't have done that. But I'm like, Daisy, like, seriously, this is the way that you're like coping and like what you're doing. This is not okay. So frustrated with her about that. Also, very scary. Julian like beat him up to no end, which really made me realize how scary Julian is. Like, that was the first time that I'm like, oh wait, he's like actually not okay. And I started to look at him like a little bit differently. My hair looks crazy and I look nuts because I just got back from the beach. But I started to look at Julian a little bit differently. And you guys know I loved Julian like a lot. And for some reason, I like really like wanted him to be with Magnolia so bad. Don't feel that anymore. There's no way I could see them like ever being together. So anyway, then Romeo's like, I know that you're using me. And then she goes and sleeps with Declan, which absolutely blew my mind. Like, I just couldn't believe that that's what was actually happening. Like, I just physically couldn't believe it. Also, it also made me really sad because like Christian is was like trying so hard to talk to her. There's like so many scenes where he's just trying to have a conversation with Daisy and she's not letting him, and Christian like goes and sees her at Annabelle's and like walks up and is like trying to talk to her, and then him and Romeo get in a fist fight. I'm like, oh my god, they're fighting. And then the scene at the church on Christmas, they go to church and he's like goes and sits by her, he puts his hand on her, and then she's just like, no, like get away from me. Her level of hurt and like heartbrokenness is so sad though, because she's like turning into like a shell of a human being essentially, which makes me really sad for her. I don't agree with her coping mechanisms, obviously, but it was really sad. I honestly was like scared for a minute. I was like, I feel like, I don't know, she was just getting in a very dark place. I started to get very concerned with her. Oh my god. And then the scene with Tiller. Okay, so then Tiller picks her up in the car. He's like, I just want to like talk to you. I never even thought for a second when it was like in the beginning of the book when she's like flirting with Tiller and like Julian's like, well, you know, like go occupy him. I never for a second thought that like that might ever be anything at all. But then Tiller like really started to take her seriously, and he picked her up in the car and was just like asking her questions and asking her how she's doing, and then saying he wants to kiss her, and she's like, wait, I like want to kiss him. I'm like so confused because I wasn't, in my mind, I wasn't putting them together. Like I wasn't ever like, oh my god, yeah, Daisy should do that. But that's because maybe because she had so many men. Like she'd like been with so many of the Lost Boys, and then she was with Christian, and then she was with Romeo. Like I was like, I can't even add this one in the mix. Now he's in the mix. Now Tiller is in the mix because he's like fully into her. Now for the most mind-blowing thing of life and the most upsetting thing ever. These last like 50 pages, I was sitting there next to Nat because Nat already read this book. I'm sitting there with my head in my hands like this. Like I'm just like, I can't read. Like I physically had a lump in my throat. Julian kidnapped 2 kids. He kidnapped 2 kids. When I was reading the scenes of like him maneuvering that, grabbing them from school, them killing their nanny, and like all for this money, like I'm just like, I understand $70 million is a lot of money, but like you are a criminal and you're kidnapping children, and this is like traumatizing for them. No matter if you were gonna release them, whatever you were gonna do, traumatizing for these 2 little kids. And do you not remember your life story, like how you grew up? I just was so upset with Julian. That's where I was like, okay, I can't take him anymore because his decisions are just so upsetting. Also him fighting people, like cage fighting people. At first I was like, it's just a release, whatever. And then I found out that like one of them died, or like a couple of them died or something like that. And I'm just like, wait a minute. He's so much scarier than I thought. Maybe because his perception, he wasn't like saying all of those things. And Daisy's perception wasn't saying those things either because she sees him in a different light. But now at the end, it just kind of all came out how insane he is. And I just like, I keep saying insane because it's the only way I can describe it. Like my mind, the whole last 50 pages, like I was pretty much speechless. So he kidnapped the kids. Part of me is like, I understand that Daisy had to do what she had to do. It made me upset that she was working with Tiller. I don't know why. I understand that's children and like she has to like get them out, but I just maybe wish it wouldn't have been like her working with a cop against her brother, because I just feel like it's not traitorous, I guess, even though they're calling her a traitor, because she's like trying to save their lives. But I'm just like, there had to have been like another way to do this, like having a conversation with Julian, telling one of them like, I know what happened, I know what's going on, you have to stop, like before involving yourself in like a full-on scheme with Tiller. I just felt like that was a lot going on. And such a betrayal. The second she walked into the house where the 2 kids were, and it was Romeo, I really was like, she's gonna kill Romeo. This is the end. Like, he's dead. I can't imagine the level of confusion of these people that she's known for her whole life, like Romeo and TK and like all of them, seeing her walk in and like be against them. Do you know what I mean? Like her pointing the gun at him and like all of that stuff. I just was like, oh my god, this is so messy. And like you would just feel so shocked. So I was just like appalled. And then she shot herself in the stomach. The last scene, the 2 last scenes that I just like literally just finished, I almost started crying. I hate Julian with a burning passion at this moment, which is crazy. I love how you guys have been watching my reactions because you can see how much I love Julian in the first Magnolia Parks book and in the beginning of this vlog. I like actually really like him, and then now I'm like, I absolutely hate him. The way that he's speaking to Daisy, like Daisy's like, how could you do this? Like, I don't ever want to speak to you again. Like, you're not my family. And he's like, cool, like F you, like I don't care, like you'll never have any protection. Like I'm just like, you've spent your whole life protecting your sister and now it's just like severed ties completely. I just expect more from him. Even though I understand he's very angry at her decisions, I just expect more from him. Like I expect him, because he's older and he's raised her and he's like a dad figure, to like be like, I'm not like letting go of you, like I want to be in your life. I don't know why. I just like expect him to fight for her, I guess, and he just didn't in the last section. Like when she's in the hospital after she's been shot, he just like doesn't even care. Not doesn't even care, he's just complicit with her being like bye, and then she just moves out. Like I don't know, it just happened so quickly. She's just like bye, I'm not speaking to you anymore, moved out, moved into her own apartment. Then the last scene with Christian made me so unwell, like actually wanted to sob my eyeballs out. He's going to her saying like I love you, they're saying I love you to each other, and she's just like I love you but I want a normal life and I can't live a normal life with all of these people. And then I'm like completely forgetting that like this is also Christian's life, only because it's not as intense, I guess, as like what Julian and them are doing. And so I'm just like, wait, you guys are saying you can't be together? Like after all of this, after this whole book, you guys can't be together? Like it just made me so sad. And then she's like telling him like don't come back, like I don't want to like speak to you ever again. The last sentence of this book literally being, he said, I kiss the corner of her mouth, walk out her door, and then we don't speak for 10 months. 10 months? 10 months is a long time. I'm so anxious to get to her book. I'm starting Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home next. I literally have it with me. I'm gonna start it right after this video and I will be vlogging it, but 10 months is a long time. And now I'm like, okay, she wants a normal life, right? Who have we met that's like normal in this book that I could possibly see her like going with or going to? The only person I obviously can think of is Tiller, which he's not even that normal because he's still like involved in all of that stuff with her brother, but he is like a normal in a sense of like he is on the right side of things. He's like a good guy essentially. So I'm interested to see where that goes, especially because I was never expecting him. But I'm just like, I'm really sad about her relationship with Julian. It's making me really sad. I want them to be able to like mend it, which I think that they will be able to. I just would love Julian to have some kind of character arc and character development. Like, please be a better person. Actually, I need all of them to have a character arc. I need all of them to become better people, because I was getting super frustrated reading the chapters with Daisy and Romeo. Like, I was just like, this is the stupidest thing that I've ever seen her engage in. Like, why is she even with Romeo? Like, it just made me sad, like him kissing her and like loving her, and she's like, I feel nothing. I'm like, girl, stop. Please stop. That was just so much for me to process. Like, the end of this book has me in pure shambles. Like, I truly sat and just was like staring into space for like a long time. It's safe to say I'm like fully obsessed with this series. I am actually really sad that I even finished the second book because I only have a couple more. But I've heard that the third one, which is Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. Am I like, okay? The Long Way Home, the third book, I've heard it's like the best out of all of them, and it's very big. Like, the book I have, I'm like, whoa, this is like a big book. It's much bigger than the first two, so I'm really excited to read it. I'm really excited to be obsessed. I absolutely loved this book. I had no idea what to expect from this one, like in terms of just like the crazy plots with like murder and drugs and all of that stuff. So I just am so happy at how shocked I was at everything. Like, I just absolutely love it. I'm so obsessed with this series. I hope that you guys are liking the reading vlogs because I'm having so much fun reading these, and it's so much fun to talk to you guys about it. Thank you guys for never spoiling in the comments and just like watching along with me and letting me like hee hee ha ha, and then you're like watching and you're like, wow, Keaton's so stupid, this is what she thinks. I love that. It's fun to be wrong, you know? I do like that. So that is it for the Daisy Hates reading vlog. I will be back with another reading vlog because I'm going to finish the whole series and I'll record it all for you guys. I hope that you guys liked this video, and if you guys want to, I have a book account on Instagram. It's called Kiki's Book Rats, and I post updates as I'm reading, thoughts. I also have a Goodreads account. It's just Keaton Milburn. You guys can follow my reviews and what I'm reading at the time as well. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!